Alright, let's start with Tier 3 Bro. In this lesson, I want to take you through what is the bare minimum items you need for a grading studio. If you're just starting out and money's kind of tight and you're getting into it and you want to do it seriously, I'm going to hook you up with a setup that's going to get you going, and with some jiggery pokery, you can optimize your system to make the most of it. Ready? Let's go. Let's start with the computer first. I could have had everything opened up here for you, but I want to take you through the process to kind of see what's going through my head when I'm doing my research. And that step is very important because when you're going to be out there buying this stuff for yourself, I want you to really see what I'm doing and how I'm researching for it. So I'm going to look up a 2017 MacBook Pro. Okay, I'm going to start off with that. So 2017, about 2 years old MacBook Pro. These are the things that are important. So we can go with a 256 gigs hard drive, and that's going to be an SSD. We know that. And then things that are very important is obviously, first of all, let's just narrow the search. I'm using eBay. Whichever country you're in, I'm sure you have something similar to eBay, so just use that. And then another important thing is that we want to choose i7 7th generation. Now, having a newer generation processor is very important because they're optimizing these new processors for encoding 4K footage. Now let's just go ahead and select SSDs, and now we're down to about 9. What we can do is select buy it now, and then condition, we can just leave it as is, and now just go through and see what we got over here. One thing that I want to make sure right here is that I'm going with 560. So this is the highest end card you can get in these MacBook Pros, and having a high-end graphic card is very important when it comes to color grading. Now we're down to these 3 systems. So it's not confusing. It was pretty easy. You saw how I did it. So now I'm just going to go, you know what? Just show me the top one, see what's going on with this. I'm going to troll down, and this is where you can see the specs. So we have the i7, like it says, we have 16 gigs of RAM, we have 256 PCIe based SSD, which is super fast. And this is saying that it has 555, whereas here it says 560. So either way, you get the idea. Look for these things are important, and just look at the price. This MacBook Pro, when it first came out, was close to $4,500, and you know this. After taxes and everything was probably $4,500, and we're getting that computer after 2 years for $1,500. This is a freaking steal. And guys, just remember, buying used stuff is where it's at. If you want to build your studio, your dream studio today and not tomorrow, then stick with used stuff. You can literally save half the money, and the best part about it is that tomorrow, if you get tired of it, or if you made a wrong choice and you don't want it, then you can just sell it and only lose a couple of bucks instead of losing 25% or 30% off of the MSRP. This is the system that we're looking at for the broke, and you might be thinking, man, come on, it's $1,500. This is not cheap. I was looking for something $700, $800. Well, you have to put in some money when it comes to color grading. I'm sorry to break it to you that this is going to be a bare minimum setup. 16 gigs, I'm telling you, you just have to. Every single camera out there, including your smartphones, is shooting in 4K. And for that, you need at least 16 gigs of RAM, and you need at least 4 gigs of VRAM. And this laptop has that. I would say 8 gigs should be minimum, but 4 gigs, whatever. And i7 2.8 is absolutely important. And then with your 256 SSD, your program drive, you should be flying through it. Now, another thing, I know I did say that I'm not going to be looking up anything for PC users, but I'm going to go ahead and look at this particular laptop because I owned it and I loved it. I did go the PC route a couple of years ago, and I came right back. It wasn't good. I had tons of issues, and it just wasn't working, and I had to come back to Mac. So anyways, this is what we're looking at. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select the same SSD. So 256, it's HP Omen 17. Solid laptop, unbelievable value. It's so cheap, it's so good. And then for RAM, we can do 32 gigs of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD. Wow, 8 gigs. Okay, so let's look at this system. So this is pretty comparable to this price. So this is 1500, this is 1396, so this is around 1400. It's manufacturer refurbished. If that's not your thing, then look for used, but I'm just gonna stick with that. Now what we're looking at is a 7th generation 2.9 i7, and it has 32 gigs of RAM, so already has double the amount of RAM. It has 1 terabyte PCIe NVMe, whereas the MacBook Pro version had 256, and it has GTX 1080, which is a 8 gig card compared to a 4 gig card in the other machine. So on paper, it blows the MacBook Pro out of the water, but I can tell you, based on my experience, MacBook Pros and how Blackmagic developed their software, they just work so well together. And once you make an investment in something like a Mac ecosystem, it's going to be a plug and play. You turn it on in the morning, you get to work, you stay creative, you turn it off, and same thing, rinse and repeat. Also, I want to tell you that, trust me, speed is not going to be lagging that far behind, okay? I've tried both of these, and I'm telling you, the give and take, I will choose Mac over PC. But for all my brothers and sisters out there that are hardcore PC people, then this will be your option for broke setup. So this is as far as the computer is concerned. Now the next thing that I want to show you is going to be this Tangent Ripple. And guys, let me just tell you, I know you might be thinking, come on man, this is a broke setup and you want me to get a control surface? Yes, because you don't understand. Having a control surface can just genuinely skyrocket your color grading career. And that's not because you're going to get more clients, it looks flashy and all those things. It's because you're going to be so much more efficient. You're going to start thinking differently. That's like telling a painter to paint without a paintbrush. It just can't happen, okay? You need your fundamental, your necessary tools. And I am just going to go out and say that this is your fundamental 101 tool. Like, you need to have a control surface. I say buy this from Amazon for 30-day money-back guarantee. Use it, and if you don't like it, send it back. But I'm telling you, in the first hour of your use, you're going to be hooked and you'll never want to look back. So Tangent Ripple is the most affordable option. I want to take you to the websites first for whatever I'm looking at. Then we're going to look it up and find deals, okay? So first of all, I just want to take you through it and show you what it is. So you got wheels, lift, gamma, gain, and then you got these RGB balls. And that's all you have. And then you have reset and some basic controls, and that's all. You might be thinking, well, I work with curves. I never use my primaries. What good is it for me? That's your first mistake. If there's one thing that you've learned in FCM and how I operate, I get most of my heavy lifting done with primaries, and that's why this is everything. It's gonna let you do 90% of the heavy lifting using primaries, and then you can go ahead and use your pen and tablet, mouse, whatever you use, and bring it home. So now let's just go back and see where we can buy it. So I can go and look it up on B&H. That should be our first stop. So it's going for $332. I mean, it's so cheap. Having a control surface this cheap is unreal. Tangent makes really good products, so don't think that, you know, it's gonna lack in quality or anything like that. But you know what? I'm just gonna go on eBay. Let's just see if we can find it here. A lot of the times you'll be surprised, there's so many good deals. Unfortunately, not for this, because there's only 4 results, and out of those 4 results, the price is the same as B&H. So sometimes actually it's cheaper on B&H. So just pick it up from B&H. That is the cheapest solution when it comes to control surfaces, and I wouldn't have it on here if it wasn't that important. So just letting you know. Think about it, it's important. Now the next thing is going to be our monitor. I say you can get away with this. This is the bare minimum option, and guys, don't go any cheaper or don't go with anything else. Again, I've used it, look at the reviews, and it's color calibrated, but don't trust these guys. I'm going to show you a better way to calibrate it, but this monitor can get in the ballpark and give you really good results after some calibration. So that's why I would recommend this over anything else. ViewSonic, this and that, I don't know, I don't care. I've tried some of them and they are awful when it comes to color accuracy. It's $500, but don't worry about this. Let me show you how to get a better deal on this. So let's go type in LG UD68 and look at this. I don't even have to search for anything. This is what shows up. Pre-owned, 1 left, 24 sold for $195. This is exactly the same monitor we were looking at. It's open box. The original packaging is gone. Who cares? You're picking this up for $195 plus $15. So basically for $210 instead of $500 plus tax, you are essentially getting the same monitor for less than half the price, and the shipping is pretty fast. And this is what I'm talking about. Use, start looking for deals. I'm doing this in real time so you can see how my brain works and how I'm looking at these deals and how much money you can save. And these products that I'm showing you are it for the category we're working on for tier 3. Okay, so now we got our monitor. Now we're gonna go look for this guy, and that is the sauce. So you got X-Rite i1 Display Pro, and I'm gonna show you what it is right here. So this is what it looks like. That thing right there. In the industry it's called a probe, but it's basically a color calibration tool or display calibration tool. And what happens is that when you turn it on, you're gonna download the software first, and when you open up the software, it's gonna look like this. Then you go in and you go into the monitor, you select your monitor, and then this is what you do. You grab your probe and you stick it on your screen just like that. It even will have that little guy on the screen, and you can just put it right on top of that, what you see in that screen. And let me just give you a better angle. So this is what it looks like, and this is how, see? So sitting right on that guy in the screen, set it up on there, and then you just hit next, and make sure that your room is optimized for the lighting conditions. So I always say have a good ambient lighting situation when you're working, but for the Broke setup, I'm not really recommending any specific lighting conditions. So I will say just turn all the lights off and keep it dark. And if you can't keep it dark, let's just say it's your bedroom and you're sharing it with your wife. If that's the case, then it is what it is. Even if you have, normal room lights, best thing about this guy is that make sure that you keep your room in the natural lighting setup, and then throw this thing on, let it do its thing, and then it's gonna optimize the colors given your lighting conditions. Okay, so that's very important then, that the lighting condition stays true. Don't turn the lights off and then calibrate it and then work while the lights are on. You have to be in the environment you usually are in your room. Once you run this probe onto your monitor, the results are gonna be completely different. It's not gonna look anything like their quote unquote color calibrated profile. So this is a must have, and nothing will be here if it's not absolutely necessary, okay? Because I understand you guys are on a budget and this is a tight ship. Again, we can search it on eBay and see what's going on. So, I mean, you can save a couple of bucks, This company is selling it brand new for $260, whereas here you probably have to pay shipping and tax, so it's going to go over $300. This is $260 flat, so you're saving 40, 50, 60 bucks. Definitely something to look into. So we're getting a pretty good deal here. Or if you don't mind, you can pick up a refurbished for 200 bucks. It's up to you. Actually, this one is saying that this is brand new too. So 220 plus 10, 230 for brand new. And here it's going to be over 300. So now you're saving 70, 80 bucks. So definitely this is a deal. All right, moving on. Now we're going to look at hard drives for this particular category. And I'm going to go with two big professional 2-bay RAID drives. And specifically this kind right here. And it's around $529. And let's go and let me show you why this drive. First of all, I love the ability that it has dual Thunderbolt 3 ports, so you can daisy chain. That just makes it so much more practical, especially if you're using it with a laptop. But here's the thing, this is the sauce right here. You can configure it, because it has multiple drives, you can configure it either RAID 0 or RAID 1, which if it's going to be your online drive, which it will be, meaning you're going to be working off of this drive, this is going to be your scratch drive, I will say set it up as your RAID 0 to get the most performance. And then if we go down and if I show you right here, this is why I picked this drive for you, okay? In RAID 0, you're getting really decent speeds. You're getting about 490 and 440. If you have Thunderbolt 3, meaning if you have that MacBook Pro I showed you, you will be getting 490. And if you are going with the PC or something older, then you'll probably use USB 3.1 and you're going to be getting around 440 megabytes read and write. That's going to get you to work with 4K footage natively inside DaVinci Resolve. So that's why it's very important. You know the deal. I'm going to go here. I'm going to look up the drive and see what they got going on. So I'm going to do 8 terabyte. I'm going to select 8 terabyte right there, and then let's just see what they have. So with hard drives, you want them new. You don't want it. So I'm going to do buy it now. And for condition, I'm going to do new. We're not looking for manufacturer refurbished. We're not looking for used. That's one thing where I draw the line in the sand. So look at this. 2 big RAID for $529 plus tax and shipping. So this is going to be around $560, $570, maybe a little more. Here, we're getting the same drive for $430 plus $16 for shipping. They've already sold 16 or 14, so you know that they're legit and you're getting a deal. So once again, guys, saving you money, getting you the best stuff you need to build your dream setup regardless of whatever tier you're in. Now, one of the biggest necessary evils. A lot of people hate this part because nobody wants to spend $220 on a hard drive. Nobody wants to do it, but you just have to. This is a backup drive. Nothing more to say about that. The thing that I love about this drive is that it gives you 2 additional USB ports, so you can plug in your phone, you can plug in an additional hard drive, thumb drive, CF card, whatever have you. So it's pretty useful, but the best thing about it is this is great. It just does what it says. I have about 7 or 8 of these. This is my local backup, so everything is being backed up on this, and then it's being backed up on my server. But as soon as I fill these guys up, I label it, I tag it, and I put it away, and I get the new drive and rinse and repeat. So definitely something you need. Let's go on eBay and see if we can find a deal. Seagate external drive. So on Seagate, this is the same drive plus hub is being sold for $140. Buy it now, free shipping. So look at that. It's $220 plus tax and shipping. So you're looking at $250. And here you're picking this up for $140, no tax. So you're saving a little over $100 right there on that drive. So when you buy multiple, you'll literally be saving twice the amount of money. So that's going to be your external drive. Definitely a must-have. And then I just want to talk about internet speed. I'm looking at this entire module as if you are a full-on studio. Okay, whether it's a bedroom studio, whether it's an actual studio at a commercial property. So given that, the internet has to be very important. And I don't know what the internet is like in other countries, but I will recommend getting at least a cable internet, not DSL, not dial-up, forget about that. I don't even think it exists. But in this category, you're going to be going with cable internet, and a lot of the cable companies with their TV service will bundle this in. And just make sure that you get their mid-tier at least, top of the line if you can, but mid-tier should do just fine, whichever country you're in. And that's going to be the bare minimum requirement. And then the last thing that I want to talk about, guys, I don't know if you ever considered it, but get yourself an iPad. Any iPad, even in Company 3, and that's basically, for those who don't know what Company 3 is, it's pretty much the biggest head honcho when it comes to color grading. They color grade any and every movie under the sun, top commercials all over the world. They're just it when it comes to color grading. They're the golden standard, And even at that level, all their studios are equipped with iPads. And basically what they're doing there is running their final color check on their iPads. So they'll export a still or a bunch of stills or all stills from a commercial or whatever they're working on. Then they will load it up on their iPad or on their iPhone, and then they'll scroll through and see how it looks. You will not understand when it comes to color accuracy how crazy the iPhone is. It genuinely is the golden standard. If it looks good on your iPhone or on your iPad, it looks good everywhere. It might as well be the brand new broadcast checker. But if you can get like a $200 iPad or something, just knock yourself out, look it up on eBay, buy like a super cheap iPad. I mean, let's just do a search, okay? So I'm just gonna go in here and I'm gonna find the cheapest iPad. So I'm gonna just type in iPad. I don't even care. Look at this. I mean, there's like under $200 iPads. So you can just literally pick up one of these guys. And the thing that you need to do, the $1 million thing that you have to do is to turn off True Tone. If you don't turn off True Tone, everything is going to be screwed up, and then don't buy it at all. So you have to turn off True Tone, and after that, if you have an iPad, just put it next to your setup, and then anytime you're creating a look and you just want to make sure that you're in the ballpark, export that still, bring it into your iPad, pop it open, look at it at half brightness, and then see how it looks. And if it looks good, that's your signal that you're on track. This will wrap up Tier 3 broke. Now we're moving on to Tier 2 come up.